Mobility on demand. Well, we're here with Gary Miksell of VTA, and Gary, you have a very exciting program that's looking at mobility on demand, not only for first last mile for people of all abilities, but your paratransit population. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that program.
So what we're trying to accomplish here is that how can we improve our paratransit service and use technologies, these disruption technologies that are coming out, to better improve your on-time performance, the cost performance, and provide the paratransit customers and the disabled population a better service than they've ever had before.
And it's fascinating because you're looking at using autonomous technologies, but autonomous technologies that are very accessible.
Autonomous technologies is only one disruption that we're looking at. So there are other disruption technologies like video analytics, or the whole speech capabilities like that you get from like Siri or Alexa, capables like that. So it's interactive speech, and then also like facial recognition. All these technologies together can be, fused together and interact together to make a much better service model.
And you have been working on this project for a while, because I remember you presenting about the veterans in Palo Alto. We're in Palo Alto at the Ford Research Center here, and that's where you'll be trialing it, right?
The problem you run into is that where is it that you can actually test technologies like this where they actually need it, as well as a customer base that has all sorts of different disabilities, and to better then be able to train the vehicle or build the vehicle to be able to interact with, no matter if you're blind or if you're disabled, but there's different kinds of disabilities. There's different kinds of wheelchairs. There are literally hundreds of different kinds of wheelchairs, as well as cognitive thinking and things like that. So our whole plan here is that to work with the veterans and the doctors there to better build and learn, and then continually improve the vehicle over the next couple of years, to be able to better interact with the different kinds of disabilities. And then that way then we'll be able to develop a better service model that would 100% and be still ADA compliant if you take the human out of the vehicle.
But at the same time, it sounds like there'll still be a need for service workers to help with certain cases, right?
That's correct. If we look at most paratransit customers, they really need help getting in and out of the vehicle, not while the vehicle is driving across the county or across from your pickup and drop-off location. So we believe that something like 20% or less of those customers, we would have a service worker or what we're calling a support person that might meet the vehicle. So as an example, if you want me to pick you up, let's say at 10 o'clock, that service person might get there at 10 o'clock, helps them get out of the house and down to the street, and then the vehicle shows up at 10:05 or 10:10. They get on the vehicle, and then the vehicle goes. And if it's a shared ride, then the people that are waiting in the vehicle didn't have to wait for the driver to get out of the vehicle, go up, help them out of the house and down to the vehicle. So the people in the vehicle got better service, and the person that actually, now with the service worker, not in a hurry, gets there in plenty of time, helps them out, and can be more helpful because that is their job, not driving anymore. It's really helping the customer.
Well, and it also allows kind of this mixing of the customers as well, because the people using that will be of all abilities, right?
That's correct. Our intent is that our paratransit customers and our first and last mile customers, which don't have any ADA criteria in most cases, the whole idea would be is to one service model can work and manage all of their needs.
And you're talking about eventually putting these on a kind of a dense basis, right? 1 per square mile or something?
So right now, Santa Clara County's got over 300 square miles. We're thinking of like 400 vehicles. So you got a little higher density of 1 vehicle per mile or less. So that way, if somebody calls a vehicle, it's within 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. So your time to pick up is very small. And then, of course, your transport time, and then, so the whole trip time would be as short as possible.
It also seems like it would allow you to kind of concentrate your existing bus resources into kind of maybe feeder routes or something.
Well, what we would think of it as more like core routes. The one thing that's been proven is that if you can have a bus showing, moving like every 6 minutes, people, so if you catch a bus and then you got to wait an hour for the next bus, and if you just happen to miss the bus, that's a really negative experience. Where now, if we could focus our buses on core, and they're like moving every 6 minutes, and then we're using our on-demand service to get people to the core routes, then that will be a much better, because then you get them to the core routes, they get out of the one vehicle, they walk right into the next vehicle, and on it goes. And so the queue time and wait time is as short as possible.
That makes a lot of sense. And we're talking, relatively quickly for the trial, right? April or May of next year?
We'll have the first vehicle, that will be up and running in that time frame, but it will still be a long way from being fully capable. And so our intent would be is over the next 2 years to slowly continue to add more and more and more features to the vehicle and see how that feature works, modify the feature, add more work to it, maybe software modify it, things like that, and then that way by the end of that time frame now we've proven that we really can have a vehicle interacting with customers so that the majority of the disabled community customers or elderly don't really require an onboard attendant.
So do you see this being kind of a public-private partnership ultimately as it gets commercialized, or?
Well, I think definitely if, as the robo-taxi and that business continues to explode or really does explode and all that, then yeah, I think that the regular TNC part of the population, that this could be a very big, a big thing for them.
Great. Well, Gary, I appreciate your insight here.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
Thank you, Ken.